Ever wondered how the art of warfare has evolved over the centuries? It's a fascinating journey that takes us from the hand-to-hand combat of our ancestors to the sophisticated cyber warfare of the modern age. This transformation didn't happen overnight. It's been a slow and steady progression, marked by key milestones that reflect the ingenuity and strategic evolution of the human race. Ancient warriors with their simple weapons, medieval knights in their castles, the introduction of gunpowder, the impact of industrialization, and the rise of technology. Each era has its own unique story to tell. Understanding this evolution is not just about studying the past. It's about gaining insights into our present and future. It's about learning how we can leverage these advancements for peace and security, rather than destruction. So, are you ready for a fascinating journey through time? Join us as we journey through time, exploring the key milestones in the evolution of warfare. In the beginning, strength and simple weapons ruled the battlefield. The Bronze Age, which spans from around 3000 to 1200 BCE, marked a significant leap in warfare technology. With the discovery of bronze, a durable alloy of copper and tin, humanity's capacity for destruction took a daunting turn. Swords, spears, and shields, previously made of stone or wood, were now fashioned from this resilient metal, dramatically intensifying the lethality of battles. Yet the Bronze Age was not solely about weapons. It was the era that witnessed the birth of organized warfare. Armies were no longer just mobs of warriors, but structured forces with a hierarchy of command and specialized roles. This was a game changer in the theater of war. Let's journey to the Greek city-states, where the phalanx formations reigned supreme. The phalanx was a simple, yet effective tactical formation, a dense rectangular mass of hoplites or heavily armed foot soldiers. Each hoplite carried a long spear and a round shield, and the formation moved as one, presenting a wall of spears to the enemy. It was a formidable sight on the battlefield, a testament to Greek military ingenuity. From Greece, let's move west to the mighty Roman Empire. The Romans took military organization to another level. They introduced the concept of legions, units of about 5,000 men, further divided into centuries. The Roman military discipline was legendary. The legions were drilled rigorously, and their formations, maneuvers, and tactics were a complex dance of precision and synchronization. These were the early steps in the strategic evolution of warfare. The Bronze Age, the Greek phalanx, and the Roman legions each played a pivotal role in shaping warfare as we know it today. They paved the way for the future, a future where strategy and technology would interplay in ways that these ancient warriors could scarcely have imagined. As we moved into the medieval era, warfare took a more fortified form. This was a time when the landscape of battlefields was punctuated by towering castles, their sturdy walls and strategic locations making them formidable bases of operation. These fortifications were not just symbols of power and control, but also tactical tools in warfare. They provided a defensive stronghold against enemy attacks, and from their battlements, archers could rain down arrows on advancing foes. But these castles were not impregnable. The art of siege warfare was honed during this era, with armies employing a range of innovative, albeit brutal, techniques to breach these fortresses. From using trebuchets to hurl stones and fireballs, to digging tunnels under walls to collapse them, siege warfare was a chess game of patience and strategy. The medieval battlefield was not just about sieges and castles. It was also where the cavalry came into its own. The image of a knight in shining armor charging into battle is an iconic one, and for a good reason. These knights were the elite warriors of their time, their armor making them walking tanks on the battlefield. Often from noble or knightly families, they were trained from a young age in the arts of war. Their role was pivotal in battles, their heavy cavalry charges often deciding the outcome. These knights were not just fighters, but also leaders. They commanded troops, planned tactics, and even negotiated terms of surrender. Their code of chivalry, while romanticized, had practical implications on the battlefield. It dictated their conduct, from how they treated prisoners to when they could engage in combat. However, it's important to remember that the medieval era was not just about knights and castles. It was a time of significant military evolution. The longbow, for instance, was a game changer, its range and power allowing English archers to decimate French knights at battles like Agincourt. Similarly, the crossbow, while controversial, brought a new level of firepower to the battlefield. The medieval era was also a time of tactical innovation. Armies began to use combined arms tactics, integrating infantry, archers and cavalry to maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. The Swiss pikemen and the English longbowmen are prime examples of this approach, their combined forces proving deadly on the battlefield. In essence, the medieval era was a crucible of warfare, its battles shaping military tactics and technology in profound ways. It was a time when the rules of war were being rewritten, when the battlefield was a stage for innovation and strategy. From the fortified castles to the armored knights, from the longbow to the crossbow, this was an era that set the stage for the seismic shifts in warfare that were yet to come. The medieval era set the stage for a revolution in warfare. The introduction of gunpowder marked a turning point in military history. This statement is not an exaggeration but a testament to the profound impact gunpowder had on warfare tactics and technologies. Before gunpowder, battles were fought hand to hand, with soldiers relying on their physical strength and the sharpness of their blades. Castles and fortified structures were the epicenters of defense and attack, with high walls and strategic locations providing a formidable advantage. However, as gunpowder made its way from East Asia to Europe in the Middle Ages, the traditional norms of warfare began to shift dramatically. With the advent of gunpowder, cannons and firearms entered the battlefield. These new weapons had the power to penetrate castle walls, making them less impregnable than they once were. The cannon in particular was a game changer. Its ability to launch projectiles over long distances and cause significant damage heralded the end of the era of fortified structures. The castle, once a symbol of power and might, started to lose its strategic relevance. At the same time, firearms began to replace traditional weapons such as swords and spears. The musket, a type of early firearm, changed the dynamics of infantry combat. No longer did a soldier need to engage in close-quarters combat. He could now strike his enemy from a distance. This marked a significant shift from the valor of individual combat to the tactical efficiency of ranged warfare. The introduction of gunpowder also led to the development of new tactics. Armies began to adapt to the new technology, devising strategies that maximized the destructive power of gunpowder weapons. The battlefield was no longer just a stage for physical strength and bravery. It became a chessboard for strategic maneuvering and cunning tactics. Gunpowder paved the way for industrialization, which would change warfare forever. This transition marked the end of the medieval era and the beginning of the modern age of warfare. The impact of gunpowder on warfare can still be felt today, reminding us of the ever-evolving nature of military technology and tactics. Industrialization brought warfare to an unprecedented scale. With the advent of the industrial age, war was no longer a matter of individual prowess or even the strategic choreography of troops. It was about the machinery of nations, the mobilization of entire economies, and the production of weapons on a scale never seen before. The late 19th century saw the rise of mechanized warfare. Steam power and mass production meant that the tools of war could be produced in staggering quantities. In factories across Europe and America, men and women toiled day and night to churn out rifles, artillery shells, and warships. No longer was war the domain of the warrior class. It was now the business of society as a whole, with every citizen playing a part. But it was not just the sheer volume of weapons that changed warfare. The nature of the weapons themselves was transformed. The tank, a product of the 20th century, combined the age-old principles of armor and mobility in a new and devastating way. It could cross trenches, crush barbed wire, and withstand machine gun fire, changing the dynamics of the battlefield. Alongside the tank, another technological marvel took to the skies. The airplane, first used in war during the early 20th century, gave armies a new dimension to operate in. Reconnaissance, bombing, dogfights. The airplane added an aerial element to warfare, shrinking the world and making nowhere safe from attack. Yet even these technological leaps pale in comparison to the most destructive invention of all, the nuclear bomb. The culmination of years of scientific research, it was a weapon that could wipe out entire cities in an instant. Its use in the Second World War marked a turning point, not just in warfare, but in human history. The sheer destructive power of the bomb, the horror of its aftermath, and the realization of the ease with which it could end civilization, changed the way nations approached war. The world wars of the first half of the 20th century were a testament to the destructive power of industrialized warfare. They saw death and destruction on a scale unimaginable in earlier eras. The trench warfare of the First World War, the blitzkrieg tactics of the Second, and the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, all were grim reminders of the deadly efficiency of modern warfare. Yet they also spurred innovations that would shape the world in peacetime. From radar to jet engines, from penicillin to nuclear power, the pressure of war forced technological leaps that would have profound impacts on society. Indeed, the industrial age and the world wars it spawned were a turning point in the history of warfare. They redefined the scale, the tactics, and the very nature of war, and their legacies are still with us today. The world wars were a grim reminder of the destructive power of advanced warfare. Today, warfare extends far beyond physical battlefields. A profound shift in the landscape of conflict has been witnessed in the recent decades. The advent of the digital age has opened up a new front: cyberspace. Cyber warfare involves the use of digital attacks to disrupt, disable, or gain unauthorized access to systems, networks, or devices. Nations, organizations, and even individuals can become victims or perpetrators. Cyber warfare is silent, yet its impact can be deafening, causing havoc in everything from power grids to financial markets. The skies, once the domain of birds and stars, have become another arena for modern warfare. Unmanned aerial vehicles, better known as drones, have transformed the way we conduct military operations. Drones can carry out surveillance, reconnaissance, and even direct attacks. They provide a significant advantage. They can operate in hostile environments while eliminating the risk to human life. Advanced surveillance technologies have also become a cornerstone of modern warfare. From satellites that can read a license plate from space to biometric systems that can identify individuals by their facial features or fingerprints, surveillance has become an integral part of military strategy. It's not just about seeing the enemy, it's about understanding their movements, their habits, and their intentions. But what does the future hold for warfare? Many experts believe we are on the cusp of a new era, where autonomous weapons and artificial intelligence will play a significant role. Autonomous weapons are systems that can select and engage targets without human intervention. They raise a slew of ethical and legal questions, but their potential to change the face of warfare is undeniable. Then there's artificial intelligence, a tool that could redefine strategy and tactics. AI can analyze vast amounts of data in a fraction of the time it would take a human, potentially predicting enemy movements or identifying weak points with unprecedented accuracy. However, like autonomous weapons, the use of AI in warfare also brings up serious ethical considerations. We are at a pivotal moment in history where the rules of warfare are being rewritten. The chessboard has expanded, the pieces have evolved, and the players are no longer confined to nation-states. Non-state actors, corporations, and even rogue individuals can wield significant power in this new paradigm. The future of warfare may be more virtual than physical. The battlefields of tomorrow may not be marked by trenches and barbed wire, but by lines of code and invisible waves of data. As we navigate this uncharted territory, it's crucial that we balance the pursuit of security with the preservation of our shared values and principles. From ancient battlefields to cyber warfare, the evolution of warfare is a reflection of human ingenuity and strategic evolution. From the physical strength of the Bronze Age through the tactical organization of the Roman legions, we've witnessed the rise and fall of battle strategies. Medieval knights and castles gave way to gunpowder and cannons, signifying the end of an era and the dawn of the next. The Industrial Age brought about massive changes, with entire economies mobilized for war and the introduction of tanks, airplanes, and nuclear weapons. Today, the battlefield extends far beyond the physical realm, with cyber attacks, drones, and advanced surveillance technologies dominating the scene. As we look to the future, autonomous weapons and artificial intelligence may well play a significant role in military strategy. As we continue to advance technologically, let's strive to ensure these advancements serve peace and security.